Hi, I'm Nurse Bob, and I'm here to talk about health and healthcare. Today I'm going to talk about antibiotic therapy, and particularly in the use of antibiotics with infants. There's newly published research that indicates that there's a potential for a lifelong increase in weight gain when we give infants antibiotics. So we're going to look at the research, and hopefully I'll give you enough information that you can ask intelligent questions of your healthcare provider and then come together to make the best decision possible for your child. So stay tuned and we'll talk soon. Thank you. I'm going to talk about lifetime weight gain and antibiotic use in infancy. There is a history associated with antibiotic use in agriculture, and with that there were concerns about antibiotic use in agriculture. There were research findings relating to humans, and then finally we want to talk about what does it mean for you and your child. The antibiotic growth promoter effect was discovered early on. In the 1940s, they started using low-dose antibiotics in feed for the cattle and for poultry to prevent bacterial infections. Of course, that was the original plan, but the farmers soon noticed that the animals gained more weight, and turned out the mechanism for that was that the antibiotics kind of selected for bacteria that were more efficient at processing the complex carbohydrates in the diet and turning them into simple sugars that the animals could use for food, and turn that into fat. So that led to an increase in weight, and they were more marketable. With the use of antibiotics in the agriculture industry, there's been concerns for a long time. The concerns were first that they could create superbugs, bugs that were really resistant to the antibiotics, and that might lead to diseases in the cattle and the livestock that were untreatable or very difficult to treat. And even the concern that maybe these bugs could jump into the human population. Those were the historical concerns. And what are the current concerns? Well, they're still the same. When you start treating with low doses of antibiotics, you select for the organisms that can tolerate that low dose. Maybe it kills 99.9% of them, but when there's billions of bacteria, that 0.1% is can be a large population that survives, and they have the ability to resist. And of course, again, we've got diseases for the livestock and the concern about resistant bacteria for people. Let's talk about the recent research and news articles that I've been reading. There's a doctor, Martin Blazer at NYU, who's been doing many studies on intestinal bacteria, the intestinal flora, the gut bacteria, and how they affect growth. And they recently, there was a study done, actually, he was part of the team at NYU that did a study with mice, and where they were able to demonstrate this, lifetime weight gain. But furthermore, he participated in another study that was done in the United Kingdom back in the early 90s, where they did a retrospective study, and they looked at the birth records of 11,000 children, and separated out those that had received antibiotics in the first 6 months, the first year, and first 18 months, I believe. They found that the children who had received antibiotics in the first 6 months of life were heavier at the age of 7. They had a higher body mass index than the children of the same age who hadn't received those antibiotics. So, what does it mean? We've got this massive epidemic of obesity going on, and associated with this is a rapid rise in type 2 diabetes, which is the diabetes that people experience when they're overweight. So the U.S. years ago put strict regulations in place on feedstock and antibiotics, but when you have a sick child, you go see the doctor and you insist on, give them an antibiotic, that may not be the right course of action You know, I mean, certainly if there's a bacterial infection, you can talk that out with your healthcare provider. But the truth is, you know, this is something we don't really know a whole lot about yet. And maybe you shouldn't be so eager to, you know, to give your kid antibiotics, particularly when they're in that first 6 months of life. You know, you might be doing them the favor in the long run that they don't struggle with weight for all of their life and struggle with all the negative effects of diabetes. So that's it for now. I'm Nurse Bob. Thanks for taking the time to listen and watch, and we'll be back soon. Thank you.